So if you're watching this video right now, I'm willing to bet that you've watched a lot of other videos about how to pick up women on Tinder and other online dating apps. I'm pretty certain this isn't your first. And so if you've done that, what I'm willing to bet that you've experienced is you've seen some videos that talk about, hey, just write these 3 simple messages to women and they're going to want to sleep with you. Like, hey, what's up? Want to smash? Let's hook up. And you'll see actual screen captures of guys writing that to women and getting results. And then you'll get other guys with videos, more like mine, I suppose, where I talk about having more humor and engagement and slightly longer conversations on Tinder before you get them offline and onto the date. And guys like me say that's the best way to go. So what is the best way to go? I mean, honestly, if you can see examples of results of guys writing 3-4 messages and getting laid, shouldn't you just be copying them? What's the right thing to do? As it turns out, it's not quite so simple. And today I'm going to discuss why. I've been a dating coach for almost 12 years now, and while there are a lot of things that I hate about the concept of the pickup artist mindset, and I've worked hard to teach men that there is a better way to attract women than to adopt that pickup artist mindset, one of the things that I particularly hate, or I think that is particularly dangerous with the pickup artist mindset, is the idea that you should do the X method, right? So you should do the Damien method to pick up women. So when I pick up women, I do this, I say this, I behave like this, I dress like this, I act like this, I stand like this. Copy me exactly, and you'll get exactly the same results that I do. Damien method, buy now. And it is terribly simplistic, actually, childish in many ways, ideology for attracting women. Because the truth is that, well, first of all, you're not me, right? You have a different personality profile. I've got a very unique personality that's just for me. I've got different strengths and different weaknesses. I can be quite outspoken. I had a mum who was a public speaking teacher, so I'm used to entertaining a group of people, not just one-on-one conversations. Maybe you grow up with a sense of humor, or you don't, or you maybe have a very sassy, brassy sense of humor, sarcasm. Maybe you have a very subtle form of wit, right? All these different things are going to play a role in who you are distinctively from me. And, you probably have a different subculture that you feel comfortable with, that you want to be around. And all these things, they impact how women are going to respond to you and what's going to come off as fake and glib and childish and what's going to come off as funny and your personality. And so, yeah, you should never be just copying someone and what they do. And an example that I often give to guys, and you'll see this translates perfectly into online dating. So this isn't just a boring backstory, but imagine that I pick 2 students. Now, I'm actually picturing 2 exact clients that I do have who get really great results on Tinder. 2 guys, okay? One is African-American descent, and he's a really outspoken, kind of sassy, fun, very brash sense of humor. Think like Chris Rock is kind of his personality. He's taller than Chris Rock and stuff, but that's who he is, and that's his personality. I've got another client that I'm thinking of, and this guy, his Japanese descent, but grew up here in Australia. He's a doctor. He's just become a doctor. He works out 5 days a week. He's in really great shape. And his personality is really different. He is a very kind of calm, confident, subdued kind of man. He has a really great sense of humor, but it's a very subtle form of wit that he uses. It's not that brash, kind of sassy form the other guy uses. And they both do really well with women. So they're both nailing it. But you got to think, should I be getting either of them to behave should I get either of them to change and become like Damien or to become like the other one, right? Should I tell the Japanese guy to behave more like the African-American guy? Should I get the African-American guy to behave more like the Japanese guy? The answer is no, neither. Because there is more than one way to be attractive to women, right? And often that involves utilizing parts of your personality and behaving like who you really are. But it's more than that. It's more than just who you are. Think about your taste in women. I mean, imagine I took these 2 guys and I gave them identical twins, right? So the black guy has an identical twin brother, and the Japanese guy has an identical twin brother. But the only difference between them is their taste in women, right? So one of those guys, so let's say the African-American guy, let's say his twin brother really, really digs quiet, sweet, demure women, right? Like softly spoken, really kind of girly and soft. And the other one prefers women who are brash and out there and really opinionated and really sassy and really, right? totally different kinds of women, like just radically different personalities of women. Can you imagine that you might need to employ a different dating strategy to attract those women, that those women are going to want to see different parts of who you are? So it's not about changing who you are, just they're going to be attracted by slightly different strategies, right? One woman, you're going to need to be a little bit more gentle in your way of sexual escalation. The other one, you can be much more brash and forward in your form of sexual escalation. Same for the Japanese guy and his doppelganger, his twin brother. And so, yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think that any two guys should be following the exact same strategy to attracting women. So translating this into Tinder parlance, and to thinking about Tinder and online dating apps, it's exactly the same thing. Yes, I absolutely believe that some guys can hop on Tinder and just write to a woman, hey, let's smash. Want to get down and dirty? And it's going to work some of the time. I've absolutely no doubt. I don't think those are fakes, but it's a very small percentage of men who are going to match with women, who are going to be like respond well to that, and who are going to say yes. So that's a very small percentage of men. And my guess is that if you're watching this video right now, you're not in that percentage, because otherwise you're probably not watching this video. You're busy writing, hey, let's smash the women. But, you know, that's the other thing too, is you need to be aware that on an app like Tinder, the women who respond, like your Tinder profile is an advertisement to a certain kind of woman. So depending on how you've displayed yourself, what your personality looks like in the photos you've put out, what kind of man you look like you are, you're going to attract a very different kind of woman. And that's going to have an impact. So you need to think about what kind of women is my profile appealing to. Now, maybe your profile is appealing to no women at all, in which case you need to work harder on your profile. More on that later. But that's another thing you need to think about. So odds are you're not appealing to those women who are going to respond to the super short messages. But the truth is that you need to learn to be adaptable with your Tinder profile. And so how are you going to do that? Well, the first thing is start watching lots of videos, learning about what guys are writing to women, right? I've put up a number of videos. I'll put a link here or here of some of my videos where I follow guys' conversations on Tinder as well. And the reality is that you need to find the conversations to mimic, because mimicry can be powerful, but find ones that feel like they match who you are, right? If you're like a really nervous, inexperienced guy who doesn't have much success with women, and you're just copying these messages that are really out there and wild and crazy, it's not going to work. You're just going to find it's going to fall apart every single time, most likely anyway. And I think that's what a lot of guys do feel or do experience when they just mimic whatever they find online. So just because it works doesn't mean that it's for you. It's a really important part of understanding attraction in the world of attracting women. So yeah, find videos, find examples from people, myself or other guys, that work for you. Now, I get it that sometimes guys have very limiting beliefs. Like I know guys that accuse me of being like blue pill in my beliefs, which I'm definitely not. But a lot of guys can be very, very blue pill. They can be very, they can feel like, oh, women need to be treated with kid gloves and they need to be put on a pedestal, and they've got this whole way of sort of approaching women. And so anything that doesn't conform to that can feel wrong. So you've got to be a little bit mindful. Is this my crap in my head talking, or does this really feel wrong for my personality and who I am? So the only way you can do it without a coach watching your back. Now, speaking about having a coach watching your back, there is another strategy. There's another thing that you can do, which is get a coach. I've got an online School of Tinder training program, which I offer to guys. And what I do in this program is it's not a one-size-fits-all. I present you with a whole range of different ways to attract women, a whole range of ways that you can develop a profile, a whole range of different kinds of first messages, a whole range of different ways you can build rapport with women to match your personality. And the idea is that you read through these and you pick and you choose those that work for who you are inside. As that, honestly, that's the only way to get great with women, is to have that. And the great thing about doing the School of Tinder program with me is that we also have a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, where you can actually throw up your profile, your conversations, your photos, and I and other coaches are actually going to give you feedback on that profile, on what you've written. So we can help you develop that so that it matches who you are and your personality, and matches the kind of women you're talking to. Because honestly, that can be sometimes the only way, is learning how to adapt, right, to the women you're talking to and adapt to your personality. So have you had that experience? Right? Let me know, if you've had this kind of experience in the past, where you are talking to women, you're trying to copy what other men have done, but you just can't get the same results that they're getting, even though you say the exact same thing, women just don't respond the way you want to. Have you had that? This is why. Let me know in the comments below about what you've had. Have you had any really massive crash and burns? Because with all of the best intention, you've been doing what you thought was going to work by copying other guys. Let me know. Let me know. Have you found a one-size-fits-all approach that works for you? Hey, I'm keen to hear about it. Go ahead and check out my course if you like this video. Of course, also subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button, and don't forget the little bell icon so you get a notification every time a new video comes out. I wish you all a happy hunting week on Tinder or other online dating apps. I'm Damien. Have a fantastic week.